The title of this podcast is Lots of Problems, Don't Add Another One. I give you a number of examples of how I think that this particular title is just packed with wisdom. And one of the examples I'll give is uh, my own problems that I've had in the past. I think I've shared many times that one of the things that happened to me was when I was doing as a financial planner. Uh, the first 3 years, the company provided a stipend, and then the rest of what I earned was based on commission. Now, while they were providing the stipend, they gave you a lot of support. And part of the support is they took out taxes for you. But when I reached a certain level and the stipend was no longer necessary, I became responsible for my taxes. And I did not do a responsible job of making sure that those were paid on time. So I created a problem. And then by uh, ignoring the notices that I got in the mail, I created a deeper problem. And before you know it, I was suffering all the time regarding something that was completely preventable. One problem was enough. Okay, I didn't get it set up in time. I got the first notice. Let's not create another problem by having to deal with a bigger problem. And then the problem, but I didn't do that. And as a result, every time the doorbell rang or the mailman dropped off the mail, I was concerned. I was worried. I was anxious. And then one day I said, okay, one problem has turned into several problems now. I've had enough of this. Let me deal with this. And I deal with it. But had I dealt with it early on when it was just one problem, I could have avoided that. And for those several years in which one problem turned into several, I had no peace. It was an open file. I was thinking about it all the time and I was suffering. So that's an example of lots of problems. Don't add another one. Another example is I have a friend who is a dear friend of mine, just the sweetest person, and she has a lot going on at home, a lot going on at home with her children, and as a result, she hasn't, made a lot of the workouts or eaten the way that she knows is to her benefit to her and for her to be strong for her family. So that's an example of having problems at home and then not taking care of yourself, and then they become lots of problems. And lots of problems mean more suffering. And then one last example is I have a close friend who is going through a marriage dissolution right now. And involves, a child that they have together and selling the house. And so he's got and they work together. So now he's got to go out and look for work outside of the shared business. And it seems very daunting. And it's not a small thing. Like your life has been unexpectedly impacted. And so it requires some action. Let me tell you what action it doesn't require. It's for you to ignore taking care of yourself, for you to isolate, not eat well, not exercise. That's just causing bigger problems. And in this case, my advice to him has been don't isolate, control the things you can, which is your eating and your exercise. And for the first 2 weeks, he didn't do that. And but now he's back on the other side of it, putting out those fires that sprouted up as a result of him keeping it contained to the few problems that were outside of his control. And now those fires have been extinguished, and now he can put all his emphasis on taking care of himself, being there for his daughter, taking intelligent action of looking for work and whatever they're going to do regarding the house, where they're going to try to keep it or sell it. So whatever you're dealing with right now, if you have a problem or problems, don't add more problems to it by either ignoring the problem or looking for a quick hit of pleasure or distraction. It's not the way to go. If you will take care of yourself, it will allow you to be clear-headed, to be open-hearted, to take intelligent action. That's always the way to go, and that's the practice.